What's up athletes, welcome back to this channel. In this video today, as you can already see from the whiteboard, I'm going to talk about Maltese press. Not only about Maltese press, but how I got from this video right here that you can see. This is a full planche press, my best that I could get 4 months ago, to this video right here, which is from today, which I got the full Maltese press. Yes, of course, it's not clean, but it's counted as Maltese press. So I'm going to show you how I transitioned from this one to this one in only 4 months, which is a crazy progress. I will go over my programming, what I've done to actually achieve these results. And before we're starting, obviously I will have to rinse everything down, but there is one very important thing when it comes to the Maltese press, and it is the fact that you have to train specific for it, and you have to learn the Maltese hold before doing the press, because dynamic movements are most of the time harder than the regular skills. So I've also made a full YouTube video about how I got from 3 seconds to 10 seconds full Maltese, and you can see my whole program there. So if you want to learn first how to go for the Maltese, how to go for other variations of straight arm skills like the planche press, you can always find more knowledge on my channel. But this video today is going to be only about Maltese press. So Maltese press was my biggest goal for this year. And when I'm saying my biggest goal, I started it on the 1st of January. I remembering myself just sitting with my notebook on the 31st to December, writing down my goals for the next year of 2025 in street workout, in calisthenics. I remembering myself writing down Maltese press, not knowing if I will be able to do it. And right now we're only in May, not even half a year into the 2025, and I've already got the Maltese press, and I know the exact step that I took to get that. Of course, I will be also making a Maltese progression video from full planche to Maltese press, the whole journey. It took me less than 1 year from 10 seconds full planche to achieving the 10 seconds full Maltese to achieving the Maltese press. But in this video today, we are going to talk about only the Maltese press. And I divided my sessions to Tuesday and Friday. And it's really important because there are some calisthenics athletes who are training every single day or training consecutive days. For example, Tuesday planche and then Wednesday planche. Tuesday Maltese and then Wednesday planche. This is most of the time is just wrong, will lead you to injuries and will lead you to plateaus, setbacks, and you will not be able to progress. It's important to recover in between sessions. That's why between Tuesday and Friday I have Wednesday and Thursday as a rest, and between Friday back to Tuesday I have Saturday, Sunday and Monday for rest. This is important. So on Tuesdays we will not talk that much about Tuesdays, because on Tuesdays I'm working with planche only. And when I'm talking about planche only, it's planche, presses and holds. I've already made a video about it, how I got from 0 to 5 full planche presses in 3 months with this program. But today we are going to be specific about Maltese. So why am I actually talking on Tuesday? Because on Tuesday there is one very important set that I want to talk about, and these are after the main work. At the end of workout I've done wide planche presses. And yes, you might say to yourself that, yeah bro, wide planche presses are not really that helpful for Maltese, but actually as you get wider and wider, it gets closer into the position. And I've started doing wide planche presses with only 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet doesn't even count as wide. It just looks like a regular planche, but about this grip. So it's more than shoulder width apart, it's more than the regular plunge. I'm weaker on that position. I've started with Tuesday's end of workout wide planche presses 3 feet. And then I've progressed from 3 feet. I've only done 2x. Okay? I only done 2 sets of this wide planche press. But I started with 3 feet, progressed to 3.5, to 4, and to 4 dead stop. And this is something really important because being fatigued from the whole workout for the planche presses, from the planche holds, and then at the end of the workout do 2 sets of wide planche presses with dead stop can actually get me a huge confidence boost for the session on Friday. And when I got to the 4 feet dead stop presses at the end of the workout on Tuesdays, I knew that I'm getting closer and closer into that full Maltese press that I want so bad, which is happening on Friday. So on Friday, since the start of the year, I've worked on my Maltese holds and I got them to 10 seconds. I've done 10 seconds Maltese hold. It was just about 1.5 months ago. And since getting that hold, I realized that the next step is specific training. I right now know that I am strong enough for the Maltese press because I'm very strong in the static holds. All I need to do is to convert that strength into the dynamic movement of the press. So what I've done is training more specific towards the press, and you already know I love to train with resistance bands. So I've trained, right now I don't have that band here, but I've trained with the 10 kg band with presses. So when I've worked on presses, instead of doing, as I said in the Tuesday workout, just going for 3.5 feet, 4 feet, 4.5 and then 5 feet, it doesn't work that way in Maltese because the gap between 4.5 and 5 feet is huge. And if you haven't known it yet, then you can progress towards the Maltese and then realize how crazy it is of a gap between the 4.5 and the 5. The 4.5 feels like a very wide planche, but the 5 truly feels like a Maltese. And that is very important because even if you will be able to do 4.5 feet dead stop presses at the end of the workout, it doesn't mean that you will be able to do a 5 feet press with momentum. It doesn't work that way. So I've worked with a 10 kg band with presses, and I've done it with multiple type of sets, because if I would just go for straight sets, for those of you who don't know, straight sets is, for example, doing 3 by 3, okay? It's just doing 3 presses for 3 sets with the 10 kg band, okay? So that's more of like a volume. Of course, that this is still very high intensity, low volume. It's still only 9 reps on 3 sets, but instead of giving you that really intense of 1 second, 1 rep or 3 seconds of hold, this is not really enough intensity if you want to get to the 1 RM Maltese press. So what I've done was training with the band, and I've done it with multiple sets. Instead of doing the straight sets, which, as I said earlier, is the 3 by 3, what I was doing is first max hold to press. The second thing that I've done is dead stop presses, and the third thing that I've done is regular presses. Okay, now regular presses are the least important, sorry. That's why I've wrote them at the end. I've only done 1 or 2 sets a workout on these regular presses because they're just helping me to gather more volume, as I said, 3x3 for example. But when I'm talking about intensity, I'm talking about the max hold 2 press and the dead stop presses, of course, with the 10 kg band. And with the max hold to a press, okay, which is really intense, I was starting it with 4 seconds or maybe even 3 seconds, I'm not really sure. 3 seconds holding the Maltese, 0, 1, 2, 3, going up to a press, and it was really intense. It felt like the press is really hard, it's really high intensity, like maybe RPE 9. There were some sets that I was finishing the press, going up to a handstand, and I knew that I will not be able to do a negative and a hold, even if I'm with the resistance band, just because the press was so hard. So I've started with 3 or 4 seconds of hold to press, and I've progressed up until 7 to press X2. And first of all, I was very weak on the last 2 weeks. I basically was sick, so it was really hard for me to push that workout to the maximum potential. I've already done a video about it, but the fact that while being sick, I was able 2 weeks ago to do 7 seconds to press, and then 1 week ago I was able to do 7 seconds to press, so it wasn't a PR, but I did it twice. So 2 sets, it's a volume PR basically because it's a really high intensity set, but I was able to do it for 2 consecutive sets with 5 minutes of rest or 6 minutes of rest in between. I knew that I'm getting very close to the regular Maltese press. To the regular Maltese press, because 7 seconds to press with the resistance band just means I can reduce the resistance band, get it out of the way, reduce this 7 seconds to 0.5 or maybe even 0, just doing a momentum press, and get to that Maltese press. And I didn't let my mind say to me something like, yo, but you was weak, you didn't really recover in those 2 weeks, you was inflamed, you was sick. I didn't let that enter into my mind. I just knew that I got the 7 seconds to press. After that I got the 7 seconds to press twice. So I knew that I will probably be ready for the Maltese press today. As you saw at the first clip of this video, you saw that there was Maltese presses, Maltese presses, Maltese presses all over this board. And that was the first thing that I've done when I woke up. I woke up and I just decided to write on the board Maltese press, Maltese press, Maltese press, because this is the biggest goal for this year. This is the biggest goal for today. I knew that I am going to get it, and that's why I was so serious about it. So when it comes to the dead stop presses, again, I worked with dead stop of like 0.5 seconds. Okay, so it's literally just doing presses without momentum. It's going back down into the Maltese and then going back up. It's just not with the momentum. It's to make sure that the elasticity of the band doesn't give me that much of a boost, of a strength. So I can really rely on my own strength with my muscles and just do presses without momentum at all. And I've progressed from dead stop presses, which I think I done just 2 dead stop presses, okay? So 2 reps with the 0.5 seconds in between press. So I just leaned into the Maltese, waited half a second, got up to a press, negative, half a second, got up to a press. That was my first session that I was doing dead stop presses after finishing with the 10 seconds holds, and I've progressed with the dead stop presses into 2 seconds press, 1 second press. So this right here, instead of half a second, it was 2 seconds and 1 second. And that again give me a good indication that I've progressed so much with going from the position of the Maltese to the press, so that I can just reduce the bend, do this set without a bend, without a press, without a dead stop, without 2 seconds but only half a second, and I can just go for the Maltese press. So again, also the dead stop presses were a huge thing in my workout to make sure that I'm confident enough to go for the Maltese press and that I'm just ready for it in today's workout. And of course there is some good correlation between getting better with planche presses, with planche holds on Tuesday. So on Friday I will be able to first recover, so Wednesday and Thursday as a rest day, and recover and just get better for the Maltese presses on Friday. But as I said earlier, it's important to go for the specificity. Specificity is actually king. It's so important to understand that if you want to get a movement, you must train it. I can't just hold a Maltese if I will just do wide planche and wide planche and wide planche all over again. I have to train the Maltese lean, the Maltese with bends, straddle Maltese, for example. That's how I actually got into the Maltese. So the same goes with the Maltese press. As I said earlier, I've trained it with bends, I've trained it with dead stops, I've also trained it with 4.5 feet. 2 weeks ago, I got my first ever press in 4.5 feet. And yes, as I said earlier, there is a huge gap between the 4.5 feet and the 5, but just 3 weeks ago, I failed my first ever Maltese press attempt. So I knew there is something, there is still something wrong with the program, and I realized that I just have to first get that 4.5 feet, because I got the 4 feet, I got the 4 feet dead stop, as you already saw on Tuesday, and I was already thinking that if I got the 4 dead stop, I can go for the 5, but that's not specific enough. I need to get even closer to that, and to bridge the gap between 4 feet and 5 feet. The only solution will be to always walk on the 4.5 feet, because again, it's more specific. Instead of thinking that I will be able to jump from here to the 5 feet, I can go into that specific range. Okay, you can always see that's the way. I should, instead of jumping, the only solution will be to do it with more of a slow jumps and to really get that in a specific and smart way. That's why, after talking to one of the best athletes in the world, actually, I've realized that instead of being so, okay, it's only 4 or 5, I can go for the 4.5. I can even, could have gone for the 4.25, okay? It's not a shame to go for the 4.25 feet or 75. Maybe I should do it right now. If 4.5 feels very easy, I was able to do today 4.5 feet dead stop as warm-up. Okay, it's really important because it also gave me a good confident boost. I was able to do the 4.5 feet press dead stop. So it means I was just leaning into the Maltese, entering into the 4.5 feet or into the wide planche, super wide planche, 4.5 feet, entering into the planche, waiting half a second, going back up. As a warm-up, it felt like in RP 6, RP 7. So it gave me a good confidence boost, but maybe I could also go for the 4.75. Maybe I should train it right now. To clean the 5 feet press, I should as well, with the specificity, to train the Maltese press with, sorry, not with the 4.5 feet, Of course that you have to be specific with dead stop, with bends to actually train the Maltese press, but I can always go for the 4.75, again to bridge the gap into the 5 feet. Actually, while making this video, I've got into that solution. That's why it's also, this video is not only for you to learn, it's always for me. I'm always learning from my videos, and you should be the same if you're creating content. So, after realizing everything about it, it's important to understand that I've failed Maltese press at the past. As I said earlier, 3 weeks ago, so it was before my sickness, okay? 3 weeks ago, failed. And when I failed the Maltese press, after countless workouts of walking with bends on the 5 feet, walking with dead stop on the 5 feet, walking with regular presses on the 5 feet with the bend, working with dead stop on the 4 feet on Tuesdays, I've realized that the solution is going for the 4.5 feet. So I got the 4.5 feet 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, 4.5 momentum. And momentum press is, as I said earlier, you just lean into the super wide planche, 4.5 feet, jumping into it, of course parallel to the ground, and then you are trying to press as fast as possible. Then it was in my sickness, okay, so I got the 4.5 momentum. I was really happy. It wasn't as clean, it's important, not clean. Then 1 week ago, again while being sick, I got the 4.5 dead stop, but again it wasn't clean enough. So I knew that if I'm sick and the 4.5 feet dead stop is not clean enough, then I can't really go for the 5 feet. It's just nonsense. It's not a smart way of training. And then today, this week, so it actually was today, I've done the 4.5 dead stop clean as warm up. And when I got that warm up with the full whiteboard telling to me that I have to do Maltese press today, I knew that I am confident enough to go for the Maltese press. After countless workouts of bends of 4.5 on dead stop, on max hold to a press, I just knew that all I have to do right now is to put my mind into it and realize that I have the strength for the Maltese press. I have the knowledge for the Maltese press. All I have to do is to make it count. And as you probably saw from this video, I'm already not at my 100%. Yes, it's not excuses. I was 90% today, 85%, but it just means that next week I will be able to go for the full clean Maltese dead stop press. And I am going to get it just because I said it right now. It is going to happen. If you want, you can go into my Instagram, follow there, because I will be sharing there more things on my story, and of course the full Maltese clean press that I will be doing next week. So after getting the clean warm-up 4.5 dead stop, all I was doing was going for APR. And when going for PR, you have to have some things in mind. And yes, you can tell that a 7 seconds advanced stack is a PR from a 5 seconds, but I'm not talking about this type of PR. I'm talking about unlocking a movement. I'm talking about that 2 to 3 seconds of hold. I'm talking about that one press. I'm talking about that one pull up in the front ever touch. I'm talking about this type of movements that you worked so hard for. It's not only about seconds. Of course, I'm always doing PRs. I'm doing 5 seconds to press last week, and this week I've done 8 seconds to press. Yes, of course, it's a PR. But I'm talking about these PRs that you worked so hard for, that it was in your mind, that first full planche hold. this type of PRs, there is some specific things that you have to know when going for them. So the first thing that you need to do when going for a PR is first stay calm. And I can't stress it enough. You have to stay calm. You are going to achieve the goals that you've wanted for all of your life. You have to stay calm. If you will not stay calm, you will not be able to achieve it. There is only a few things about the strength. Most of the things are happening in your mind, and you have to stay calm. The second thing is a specific warm-up. So after getting the clean 4.5 feet dead stop, I knew that I have to go right now for the 5 feet. I remember myself actually going over that 4.5 and then putting my parallel on the 5 feet. I remember that. And when that core memory hit, it was only just a few hours ago, I remembered this time I'm going to achieve it. So in the specific warm-up, I went for 10 kg press, 3 5 kg press. If you don't know the between the 3 and 5 kg, this is this band right here. I called her the mental band. Why? Because it's only about your mental. 3 or 5 kg from your body weight when you're weighing 70 kg, even if you're weighing 60 kg, it's nonsense. It's 5% of your body. All you have to do is to be 5% stronger. And how do you actually do it? You're doing it in your mind and not with your muscles. All you have to do is to actually put all your effort into it. So with the mental band, I got the Maltese press. Of course that I had my legs a little bit open, so maybe it wasn't that best of a confident boost. But after getting it with this band, I went for the momentum press. Now you can tell that even this press right here is with a little bit of momentum, but when I'm saying momentum press, I'm saying momentum press. I've literally jumped into the Maltese and then tried to go up as soon as possible. I will show a video right here. You can see that I literally just explode on the way up. I almost fell forward from the handstand, from the wide handstand, because it was so easy, the momentum press. And when I saw the momentum press is so easy, all I knew is that I just have to use less momentum so it will count and go up. It's so easy. Less momentum, go up. Less momentum, go up. Less momentum, go up. That's what I said to myself for, I think, 5 minutes between the rest. I rested like 5 minutes between the momentum press into the Maltese press. And I was always thinking, less momentum, go up. Of course, the less momentum is the easiest part. All I have to do was to thinking about leaning and then jumping slightly, just a regular Maltese hold. But I knew the hardest part would be to just go up without momentum, with 5% of momentum, okay, you can say, because it's still not a dead stop. I know that it's not a dead stop yet. I do count it as a Maltese press. So I put my Maltese is with E. I put my mind into it, realize that all I have to do is to explode up as much as possible. I'm training calisthenics for almost 3.5 years. That's the moment that I was waiting for. All I had to do was to explode up. And that's what I've done. There are still some mistakes that I had in that press. I know how to fix them. All I have to do right now is to actually get stronger again, get more knowledge, and improve myself to the top. And if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling that you don't know this whole knowledge and you are stuck with your calisthenic skills and you think someone can actually guide you into better progress, into better level, but you haven't taken action yet, all you have to do is to go down to the link in the description. There is a link of my Instagram. All you have to do is to just DM me for one-on-one coaching, because every single client of mine is making huge progress with the front lever, with the planche, with the front lever touch, with the front lever pull-ups, with the planche presses. Every single one of them is getting the whole knowledge that I have right here specifically for him. Because you can't just go into the Maltese press by doing random things. You can't unlock the Maltese press if you will not have a smart and consistent training program. And I'm saying it to you, to the guy here behind the phone that is waiting for his Maltese press, waiting. How can you wait for something? You have to thrive to achieve it. You have to put actions into achieving it, and you will be able to do it faster, easier, without injuries if you will work with me one-on-one. All you have to do is to go down to the link in my Instagram, and I will contact you as soon as possible to see if you can fit into my online coaching team. That's about it for this video. If you found it helpful, because I've literally showed you all of my program on how I got from regular Maltese to the Maltese press, please subscribe to this channel, like this video for more content like this one, because I'm truly putting my heart into it. My goal is to help any single calisthenics athlete to gain as much knowledge as possible. It's not only about my coaching, it's also about so you will be able to coach yourself. So that's about it. Let me know in the comments if it was actually helpful, because if yes, I will try to put more videos of programming and how I actually program for me and for my clients. So that's about it. I will see you in the next video.